First of all, take a look at the motion of this apple. The apple moves in a vertical path, and it is due to the force of gravity acting on it. The apple would change its velocity along its path due to the force acting on it. In order to understand the pseudo force, we need to first understand the Newton's second law of motion. What the Newton's second law of motion states is that when an object which is at rest or moving with constant velocity is subjected to a force, it will change its momentum within a unit time. In other words, if an object has an acceleration, it would be due to a force or resultant of forces acting on it. As you would know, force is a vector, and the acceleration vector of the object would be in the direction which the force acted. So, if an object has an acceleration, it would be moving under a force. This is how you would understand the pseudo force. Now, consider a ball being released within a truck which is moving at constant velocity. First, we will analyze how the motion appears to an observer within the truck. Initially, a person is holding the ball. The person is moving within the truck. Since the ball is moving with the truck initially, it will contain the same velocity as the truck, and also a certain momentum due to the velocity. When the ball is released, the ball will contain the same momentum and move with the same velocity in which it moved prior to being released. To the observer who is observing the motion from within the truck, will only observe a vertical motion of the ball under gravity. This occurs since there is no relative acceleration or relative velocity between the truck and the ball. Therefore, in this instance, no pseudo force will be visible during the motion. Now consider an observer who is observing this motion from the outside of the truck. In other words, the person who is standing on the Earth's frame of reference. The observer would observe a vertical motion being executed within the truck, but the actual motion seen by the observer would be different. If we would consider time to start from the position in which the ball was released, the observer would observe the ball to move in a projectile path, the vertical motion being under gravity, and the horizontal motion being under the horizontal velocity gained by the ball prior to release. Similarly, the observer would observe the truck moving in a horizontal path under the same velocity as the ball. Here we understood the motion of bodies as perceived by observers who are within inertial frames. Previously, we analyzed the motion of an object within an inertial frame. Now let us understand the motion of an object within a non-inertial frame, or in other words, an accelerated frame. Let us analyze how an observer who is within the accelerating frame would perceive the motion of the ball. The ball is being held by a person initially. The person is moving with the accelerating frame, and so is the ball, since the person is holding the ball. At a certain instance, the person would release the ball. The ball appears to move in a projectile path and does not fall on a position vertically below the position of release within the truck. What occurs here is that since the frame is accelerating, its momentum and velocity is changing. On the other hand, the horizontal velocity of the ball remains constant. The horizontal velocity of the ball would be the velocity in which it was traveling initially before being released. Due to the relative acceleration, the acceleration of the ball relative to the frame would be in the opposite direction to the frame's acceleration and equal in magnitude. This acceleration will cause a force. This force is known as the pseudo force. Now let us see how an observer who is standing in the earth frame would see the motion. The ball would appear to move in a projectile path, but the horizontal velocity of the ball is constant. The truck has an acceleration, so it will move with an acceleration. Within the same time, the ball would have a certain horizontal displacement, and the truck as well. This displacement of the truck would be greater than the displacement of the ball. Hence, the inside observer would observe the ball to fall a position behind the release position. The outside observer would also observe the ball to land on a position behind the release position within the truck. And also, he would observe the horizontal displacement of the projectile of the ball to be less than the horizontal displacement of the truck. The pseudo force is only considered for an observer within the accelerated frame for convenience of calculation. Thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe and share for more interesting videos.